What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the smallest and also one of the most affordable e-bikes available from ENGWE. The one that we have here today, it's called the C20 Pro. So this is a folding bike. You can fold this right here in the middle and the handlebar here also folds. This is not the heaviest bike out there, so this only weighs about 25 kilos. So it is a bit easier to carry this around, even though you don't really want to carry a bike that's 25 kilos that much. This one gets a range of up to 150 kilometers depending on the conditions where you ride. We'll talk more about that later on in the video. And we also get disc brakes on the front and on the back. Now this one doesn't have the massively fat tires that we typically see on all the other ENGWE bikes. So this one has 20-inch wheels but only 3-inch wide tires. However, the tires do look a bit wider than most other bikes available on the road. Alright, let's start a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you how this comes packed in the box and what you have to do to get this ready and out on the road. Alright, so in the box the bike comes packed really well, so it's not gonna get damaged during transportation. As for what you have to do to get this ready and on the road, you basically have to put the handlebar here together. You also have to put the front wheel together and the front mudguard and the light. The pedals also have to be installed. Now, it's easy to get this ready basically and on the road, but it's time consuming, so you're looking at about half an hour to get this ready and out on the road. Now, depending on the region where you buy this bike, it may come with a 750 watt motor on the back here or with a 250 watt motor on the back here. This particular one complies with the EU regulations, so this one is locked to 25 kilometers an hour when you take it out of the box. So out of the box it is EU compliant, but as I said, if you buy this in the US, for example, you're gonna have a bigger motor and a more powerful motor on the back there, so keep that in mind. The power that you get from this bike, it will depend on the region where you actually buy the bike. Taking a look at the bike and starting on the back here. So on the right hand side here we have a 7-gear Shimano shifter. This is an entry-level Shimano shifter, but shifting gears up and down is done flawlessly, so no problems whatsoever. On the other side we have a disc brake. We actually have a disc brake on the front as well. These are mechanical disc brakes, but for the power of this bike I feel that the mechanical disc brakes on it are pretty good. So when you pull on these levers here, you can definitely lock the front and rear wheel if you want to. The kickstand is made out of a combination of plastic and metal. It does work well, so whenever you have the bike on the kickstand, it doesn't seem to fall off if it's windy or anything like that. And on the back here we also have a rack. Now this is not the thickest rack out there, but if you have like a backpack or a bag or something like that, you can probably put it on top of that rack. And then we have this little plastic mudguard. The tires also have a bit of an off-road profile. As I mentioned earlier, these are only 3-inch wide tires, but I actually like the way the bike feels when riding with these tires that aren't as fat, let's call them, as the other ENGWE bikes. So this one feels a bit tighter, I'm gonna say. So yes, you could do a bit of off-road with this bike as well. Moving on to the pedals are foldable, so you can easily fold them and unfold them. On the front here we have the same tire and the same wheel basically that we have on the back. We also have this little plastic mudguard that does tend to move quite a bit, and we also have a light. The light is bright enough to be seen during the day and of course bright enough at night so it can light up the path ahead of you. Now I did notice that we don't have a rear light. That's a bit of a shame because you're gonna have to buy your own rear light. We basically have this reflector here on the back, basically just under the seat. Talking about the seat is adjustable in height, and it does get pretty high and pretty low as well. Now the seat here is also pretty comfortable, so a lot of padding, more padding than a lot of bikes out there. So riding on this for a couple of hours is done without any problems, and the overall ride is pretty comfortable. Talking about comfort, we also have a front suspension here. Now it doesn't have the most travel out there, maybe about 2 inches of travel, but it definitely helps when you go over bumps or uneven terrain. The handlebar here is also adjustable in height, and that means that the bike is suitable for shorter or taller riders. And the handlebar here is also foldable. And since I'm showing you how this folds, I'm actually going to show you how the whole bike folds. So we'll fold this pedal here as well. And the bike folds like this. So yes, it does become a bit smaller. In here you're gonna find the battery pack. The battery pack is also removable, so if you wanna just take the battery pack at home to charge, it takes about 6 to 7 hours to fully charge this battery. Now, the range on one charge, depending how you ride the bike. So if you ride on electric only, you do have to unlock the throttle if you wanna ride on electric only. But if you do ride on electric only, you get about 50 kilometers of range. If you do pedal, you can get up to about 100, 120 kilometers on one charge. Interestingly enough, this bike also has a larger battery than most other ENGWE bikes, which is kind of unexpected because this is one of the most affordable ENGWE bikes out there. As for power, well, this is the least powerful ENGWE bike that I got to try up until now. Now, the manufacturer says that this bike has a 250 watt motor, but I also tried a bunch of 250 watt motor bikes in the past, and this one doesn't feel like a bike that has a 250 watt motor, so it does feel more powerful. Mostly if you unlock it, because I personally unlocked mine, it is fairly easy to unlock. Now it reaches higher speeds and it feels like the motor is pulling a bit harder, I'm gonna say. So I do suspect that this is in fact a 500 watt motor, but the manufacturer says that this is a 250 watt motor. So you're not gonna get as much power as other ENGWE bikes, but it's also powerful enough to take you in most situations, basically without you having to put that much effort into pedaling. Now, if you do take this bike on steeper hills, you will have to put some effort into pedaling. So this doesn't do as good as all the other ENGWE bikes when you go uphill. So keep that in mind, not as powerful as all the other ENGWE bikes. And lastly, the handlebar. Well, the handlebar is wide enough. It doesn't feel cramped whenever you ride the bike. The grips here don't seem to move at all. On the left hand side here we have a couple of buttons so you can change modes, you can power on or off the bike, and we also have a little bell. Not the loudest bell out there, but at least we have a bell. In the center here we have a screen that will show you how much battery you have, the speed that you're doing, the mode that you're in, and the screen is also visible in direct sunlight, so you can see it no matter on the situation. On the right hand side here we have the shifter. So as I said earlier, this bike has a 7-speed Shimano shifter. This is an entry-level shifter. And to the right here we have the throttle, so you can also unlock this, and you don't necessarily have to pedal at all times. You can just accelerate from the throttle, but as it comes out from the box, the throttle doesn't work as per the EU regulations. Alright, so let me quickly show you how you ride this bike. So we have the power button right here, so you hold this pressed for a couple of seconds and then the screen comes on. And from here you can change assistance level. So we're gonna go in assistance level 2 for now. So we'll go on the bike. So as soon as you start pedaling, the bike will start assisting you. So I'll show you how that goes. You can probably hear the motor right now. So as you can see, I don't actually have to put any effort into pedaling. We'll go to assistance level 4. So the same, you just go faster, but you don't actually have to put any effort into pedaling. And if you do have the bike unlocked, you can also accelerate from the throttle only. So let me show you how that works. So now the bike basically goes by itself without you having to do anything. So we'll try a brake test somewhere around here. So we're doing about 25 kilometers an hour, well, 23-ish. Let's do it from 25 actually. So we'll brake somewhere around here. So if you want, you can definitely lock those wheels. I'll show you that once again. So we'll brake somewhere around here. So again, from 25 kilometers an hour. So that's how you would ride this bike, very, very easy. So to quickly conclude this video, if you're looking for a somewhat smaller and lighter bike, a bike that also complies with all the EU regulations, you can definitely check out the ENGWE C20 Pro. It is a lighter bike than most ENGWE bikes. Now, the tires may not be as fat, but I feel that the bike still looks pretty good even with the somewhat slimmer tires, because they're still wider than most bikes out there. It rides pretty well as well, and I actually find it more tight on the road, if that makes any sense, when compared to all the other ENGWE bikes. So there you have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.